A tale of two companies, and just a couple of years ago, this would have been a role reversal of epic proportions, but now we have DC actually doing something correct over Marvel, while doing what Marvel continues to do. A couple of days ago, I talked about specifically, and I probably talked about it yesterday as well, how terribly Marvel will never learn from any of their previous failures, especially with the Marvels in general, that cataclysmic bomb. They're becoming the actual manifestation of this Principal Skinner meme from The Simpsons where, oh, maybe it's my problem in this situation. No, it's all of the kids that are the problem. But DC hitting that hard reset on their cinematic universe, their disparate Snyder ideas that were out there, that hack. But no, they're refocusing on James Gunn with the DCU, laid out all of these strategies of a bunch of goofy ass projects that he has in the can, or at least, ready to go ideas that he has in the can, but not everything's, flushed out or anything like that. And well, he's all gonna center around the first film to come out in the DCU, the brand new cohesive vision of superheroes at a time in 2 years where, the superhero landscape is going to look vastly different than it does right now, and it's all going to center on a Superman film, which is good. That's the best place to start because, Superman, even for the fact that there hasn't been a good Superman film since, Christopher Reeves can walk, they're definitely putting their best foot forward. We've seen what James Gunn can do. He loves himself some goofy ass characters, okay? Guardians of the Galaxy, hell, his old trauma stuff where he cut all of his teeth. He likes those goofy ensembles, okay? And he's pretty good at it. He's at least pretty successful. I haven't seen any of the films, but I hear good things about them, okay? So that makes sense that the second film in the DCU is going to be The Authority, and then the first project in the new rebooted DCU is going to be Creature Commandos. Don't know what those are? Don't worry, you're in good company. But the casting decisions that we're seeing out of Superman Legacy and all of the self-promotion behind this, it kind of points that Superman Legacy's going to be a pretty decent film whenever it does eventually come out. Oh, it's got a hard release date of July of 2025. Is anybody going to care? I ask you, is anybody going to care at that point in time? You better make a banger, James. Your career kind of relies on it. We hear that James Gunn has found his Lex Luthor in a British actor, Nicholas Hoult, several sources tell us. Yeah, that's also, to back up David Cornsweet in the title role as Superman and Clark Kent, and Emmy winner Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane. And guess what? They're actually good castings. Lois Lane looks like Lois Lane. Clark Kent looks like Clark Kent. And now this Nicholas Hoult guy, hey man, you put a bald cap on him. It's not bad casting. It's not bad. I don't know how tall this guy is or anything like that because, Lex Luthor, he's not the most imposing physical character, but he does have a presence about him. He's a hell of a lot better than the Jesse Eisenberg casting. Holy shit, that was spurgy. But it's smart. No race change, no sex change, nothing like that. It just looks like a one-to-one adaptation of your source material. And if you're trying to bring people back to the DC brand after the better part of 2 decades of them just completely and totally fumbling the bag, how do you not have a successful standalone Batman film and a successful Superman film at the time when the superheroes could do no wrong? Oh my god, that's what happens when you hand over creative control of a company to the ultimate edgelord in Hollywood. You get exactly what you deserve. But props where props is due, and I've taken a dump on James Gunn and some of his iffy decisions before, but this is a smart one. This is definitely a good one. The studio wanted to go through the casting process after the SAG-AFTRA strike, landing an actor to play Luthor. Warner's is already in business with Hoult on Clint Eastwood's Juror Number 2. Hoult is also starred in, the Warner Brothers blockbuster Mad Max Fury Road, which made, cool, so he was one of the guys in the background, because he obviously wasn't Mad Max, and he wasn't Furiosa. I know those two characters that were in there, and he wasn't any of the broads that got saved from... Not Lord Humongous. I'm an old head when it comes to Mad Max. I've watched a couple of reviews of Fury Road. But no, cool. General unknowns to relaunch your universe. That's probably good, man. So everything's going to ride on the quality of the script and the quality of the plot and the ability of the characters to be adapted faithfully from the source material. That's going to bring people into the theaters and spread it through a good word of mouth. Proper casting, good decisions that are out there. So that's where all of the good news ends, okay? Because now, on the Marvel side of life, what have they learned? What have they learned at all from the failure of the Marvels? Absolutely nothing. So, apparently, in the some near future, okay, end of phase 5, phase 6, or something like that, like, there's so many sketchy things going on when it comes to the Fantastic Four. Or in this situation, depending on some of the casting decisions, Los Cuatros Fantásticos, because you got Pedro Pascal playing Reed Richards. Okay, listen, this might be a hot take. As somebody who's seen at least what everybody points to as the seminal work of Pedro's career, I don't think he's all that hot. I understand that everybody wants to suck this dude dry off the back of his portrayal of Oberyn Martell in season 4 of Game of Thrones, and maybe I'm a little bit more critical on that series than everybody else that's out there, but why was Oberyn such a beloved character? Just because he also liked to suck the dick on screen as most of the sycophants that do Game of Thrones centric channels? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, I've got to go back and I've got to rewatch the series again, because I know that I liked the first season. Second season was all right. The third season started to get a little bit shaky, and then I didn't really like the fourth season for very Oberyn, Alaria, Daenerys centric reasons. And I've also seen some of Pedro's work when it comes to The Mandalorian, and bruh, him being the smartest man in the MCU, being Mr. Fantastic, if it's anything based on a Star Wars work, that doesn't pass the smell test at all. And oh yeah, Reed Richards is kind of a square-faced, weathered old white guy, so what the fuck are we doing here? I understand that Pedro Pascal can probably pop a rating. He seems to be Hollywood's it guy for right now. And of course, the media loves him, so that's what Disney's gonna do. They're just gonna double down for their sycophants and try to pop a quick rating by just bringing back stars from the past. You know, all of those leaks and rumors around Robert Downey Jr. coming back to probably pass the mantle of Iron Man off to Ironheart and go, don't worry guys, the universe is in good female hands now. She's even smarter and better than I am. Can't wait for that eye-rolling Jake Skywalker-like situation to manifest on screen. That should be a fucking hurl-worthy moment. And then also, instead of accurately cast the roles of iconic characters looking squarely at this one, no, just go ahead and put somebody who right now is, you know, the hottest flash in the animal fat pan. That should definitely end up doing well for you. Hasn't bit you guys in the ass beforehand. Remember when Brie Larson won the Oscar and then ended up taking the Captain America or Captain Marvel role? There's so many captains that just suck ass in Marvel right now. And bro, that was such a good decision that definitely, you know, bore out correctly. Or, okay, what about Javier Bardem? To play the role of Galactus. Is Galactus gonna end up being, which would be just a monumentally stupid decision, but I also wouldn't put it past current Marvel. They have him be the villain of the Fantastic Four film. He's like, Galactus is the end boss for Marvel, by the way. But okay, you can go ahead and have some questionable casting, because Galactus being a celestial being, okay, of cosmic origins and all that stuff. I'm not going to pretend to know all of the origins of Galactus, but if you're even just a passing Marvel fan, you know the name, and bringing him to the screen is going to be a major thing. But Javier Bardem, great actor. Hell, you can even see, you know, one of his more major roles back there on my wall back there. He was actually, you know, pretty good in that. Second best Daniel Craig James Bond film. And as for the rest of the casting for the Fantastic Four, well, it's not terrible. It's really not terrible, because you've got, okay, Vanessa Kirby, this chick right here, she's going to play Sue Storm, the Invisible Woman. Okay, some renders. It's close-ish, which is, of course, somebody who's going to end up inheriting the mantle as the leader of the Fantastic Four. You might as well go ahead and cast her correctly, right? Because she's going to end up being the hero of the MCU going forward. That makes sense. And a guy who's just basically going to be flaming, why not have him as another, you know, flavor of the month from, I recognize the t-shirt, right? Like, he's from Stranger Things. Like, I don't get it, man. Whatever. And apparently Ebon Moss Barak, I have no idea who this guy is, by the way, but apparently he's gonna end up playing the Thing. That's more casting news that's out there. So yeah, the Fantastic Four looks to be cast very interestingly. So the big bad Galactus, of course, he seems to be earmarked by somebody who can pop a rating for sure. But what about somebody else who's also in this picture right here? We don't have any news on Doctor Doom, which obviously, you know, once they officially shit can Jonathan Majors Kang, they can go ahead and just, you know, insert Doctor Doom with a little bit of, heavy-handed sleight of hand. What about the most famous herald of Galactus? What about the Silver Surfer? And guys, I have said this once and I will say it again in this video. Disney has learned nothing. Silver Surfer in Marvel's Fantastic Four MCU reboot, reportedly a woman. They will not continue. Try to dig themselves out of this trench by continuing to make all of the decisions that put them there to begin with. Silver Surfer, yes, in Marvel's Fantastic Four, reportedly a woman. Casting is currently underway for the upcoming Fantastic Four MCU reboot at Marvel Studios. Pedro Pascal appears to be set for the chosen role as Reed Richards. Now fans are waiting eagerly to see what the rest of the film's cast will be. As for the Silver Surfer, reports claim that Marvel Studios had made the character into a woman, baby. Yeah. I don't even know. As muddle-fucked as the rest of the as Marvel's storylines have been, I don't ever think that the Silver Surfer has ever been a woman. I don't think that's the case. I think that there are female heralds of Galactus, but none as famous as the Silver Surfer. Maybe an iteration of Nova is a female or something like that, but no. There's the Silver Surfer, and then there's everybody else. Of course, it's still unknown who will be playing that version of Silver Surfer, nor has there been any official confirmation from Marvel Studios that they'll be portrayed by a woman, but insider Jeff Snyder claims as much while discussing the alleged cast members in talks for the Fantastic Four. And yes, Snyder reports you can expect to see a female Silver Surfer. This lines up with previous reports that Marvel decided to gender swap the iconic comic book character. Why would you do this? And to be fair, they've already taken the opportunity to do so with the character in the past. Do so with characters in the past. It's like, what? No, we've only seen the one cinematic interpretation of the Silver Surfer, and he was very much, a guy. One of the most recent changes, including Cosmo in the MCU's Guardians of the Galaxy films, who appeared to be a male dog in the comics. Okay, whatever. Yeah, it seems 6 of one, half a dozen of another. Oh, we gender swapped a dog, so we can do the same for Silver Surfer. As for the Silver Surfer, the comic book iteration is originally a young astronomer named Noran Rad. He is a humanoid alien with metallic skin and definitely not a bitch. But all of the people, at least the ones pulling the strings over at Marvel, are trying to appeal to that audience. But as we've seen with the Marvels, unless you figure out a strategy for this Fantastic Four film where you can go ahead and send in 50 UPC codes from empty bags of Friskies, you ain't getting anybody turning up for your next projects. Man, how do you continue to fuck up this grandly? Like, is Disney trying to speed run its sale to Apple and drive the price of the product completely into the ground? There's got to be some explanation behind this, because it's definitely not salient decision-making capacities. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.